Okay. Good morning and welcome to today's workbook lesson from A Course in Miracle. My, we are at the silver anniversary mark. We are actually on workbook lesson 25 today. And we are taking but another step up that ladder, that the ego led us down, down to the bottom. But today we take another step up that ladder of restoration, up that ladder of rejuvenation, and up that ladder of renewing our minds. My name is Oliver Blue, and I will be your temporary guide today. And these lessons are provided and sponsored by Truly Foundation, which is a nonprofit organization that is in the business of sharing what we call advanced spirituality. Why do we call it advanced spirituality? Because the effects of it is progress. It causes one to progress in their spiritual awakening, their spiritual growth. It causes one to move upward in their journey of self-discovery, their journey of God discovery, and in their journey of discovering the world they see. So we're glad that you're on this journey with us. And this course is a course in mind training. And just as a reminder, it is the goal of the course that we move from false perception, which we define as what the world is, what the world means. When we use the word the world, that's what we mean, is having a false perception. And we understand that perception has to do with the way we see, and that is based on an interpretation, based on our interpretation. And so we move from a false perception to what we call true perception, or Christ vision, or an awakened consciousness. These are all synonymous terms. And we've already discussed the fact that terms are just forms. Forms are twice removed from the truth. We do our best with the words that we have to describe what we are attempting to make sense of, or what we are attempting to make truth of. And so words are limiting, and but we are attempting to bring meaning to that which is infinite. Okay. And also like to remind all of us on this journey that this course is written on using Christian terminology. That is no endorsement by any means. It's just one of the most widely accepted languaging when it comes to spirituality. So we use that languaging. And it's also written at the level of the ego, which is, for the most part, where we find ourselves in an ego framework, living in an ego framework, meaning thinking from an ego framework, perceiving from an ego framework. So the languaging or the message is written at that level. Why? That's the place that we think that we are. And when we say ego, we have defined ego as false perception. And there is a section in here, if I can find it. I don't remember if we went over I don't know if we went over the course's definition of ego. I think we have, but let me look right here. I may be able to find it. Let me go back here on the classification of terms. This may help us. Okay, yeah, we got a little section here on the ego. Here, this is on in the section on clarification for terms on page 81 in the blue book, A Course in Miracles. And it starts out, it says, illusions will not last. Illusions will not last. Their death is sure, and this alone is certain in their world, the world of illusions, the world of coming and going. Everything that comes and goes is illusionary. Everything that changes is an illusion, meaning it's only temporary. And it says it here, illusions will not last. This world will not last. The body that you appear to be traveling in this dimension, it will not last. And so the Course defines anything that's not permanent as an illusion. It's not a bad word. It's just a way to describe the unreal. Because remember, that which is real is eternal, changeless, birthless, deathless. Okay? But that which is not real, referring to illusions, they will not last. Their death is sure and alone, and this alone is certain in their world. It is the ego's world because of this. So we call that world of change, that world that is temporary, we call that the ego's world. And then it says, what is the ego? But a dream of what you really are. So it now is saying that the ego is a dream. It's a dream of identification. It's but a dream of what you really are. A thought you are, it is said, it is a thought that you are apart from your creator. A dream and a thought. So the ego is a dream of what you really are. Okay, it's a dream of what you really are. It's not a reality of what you really are. So we dream in that we are something. And it says, it is a thought you are apart from your creator and a wish to be what he created not. That is so important that we capture this Okay, because the word ego is kind of tossed around, and people use it to identify themselves. They say my ego. It's my ego, or your ego. Like it is an entity of into itself. But here it says it's just a dream. It's just a thought. It's a thought apart from your creator, and a wish to be what he created not, or what the creator created not. It is a thing of madness. Wow. Not reality at all. So here the Course defines the ego as madness. It's madness because we're thinking that we are apart from our creator. We're dreaming that we're something that we're not. And the conclusion, it is madness. So when we're not walking in our true identification, the only other option is to be walking in a false identification, which is a dream, which is an illusion, which will not last, which its death is just as sure and certain in the world, in the ego's world. It says it is a name for namelessness. It's a name for namelessness is all it is. A symbol of impossibilities. Wow. It's a name, it's a symbol, it's a dream, it's an illusion. It is a choice for options that do not exist. All this is describing the ego. We name it, but to help us understand that it is nothing but an ancient thought that what is made has immortality. It said it's but an ancient thought that what is made is immortal, meaning it lasts forever. But it doesn't last forever. Your body doesn't last forever. The idea of being separate from your creator doesn't last forever. The dream doesn't last forever. But what could come of this except a dream, which, like all dreams, can only end in death? Now, this is a very in-depth description or definition of what the Course described as the ego. A dream, a thought, an idea, a name, an illusion. That's not real. But you can put all of these in the category that the ego is not real. But this Course is written as at the ego level, as though it is real, because we, meaning those of us that are here, identifying ourselves as separate beings and separated beings, separated from each other, separated from our creator, separated from our of all the other creation. There is a belief. There is a belief that separation is real. So that's why this Course is written at that level, as though that's where we are. It has located us. And now we're going through this Course. And some of us, for the first time, are really locating where we are in our thinking and in our perceiving and in our understanding. And the way this Course is written, it becomes a shock to some of us. And so there's resistance. We are startled by some of the things it's saying. And if you're still here after 25 days of this training in mind reversal, I would have to say, good job. Good job. That means you have a willingness to be honest with yourself. You have a willingness to be honest with yourself. If you're still around after 25 days of this, we haven't even got intense yet, but this introduction to the fact that, where you see where this going is that our thinking and our perceptions are for the most part, has been based on an illusion, a belief in a false identity, a belief in a false idea about ourselves and about our creator and about the creation, based on separation. So if our point of viewing is from an ego point of view, meaning we're separate beings, we're separate from each other, that we have this individuality, personal self that is real, then we're dabbling in a dream that death here, defined as it defined here, is not the death of a body, but it is about the eventuality of the whole idea of separation being dissolved into nothingness, because it is nothingness, as we'll see as we go along in these trainings. It says, what is the ego? I asked the question again. Well, what is it? It says nothingness. Okay, I seem to be back, and it's still television live. So we will continue. It says, what is ego? Nothing but in a form that seems like something. It's nothing, but it seems like something. It's unreal, but it seems like it's real. Almost like it says that the ego is counterfeit. It's an imposter. It's an illusion. In a world of form, the ego cannot be denied, for it alone seems real. In a world of form, and we are in a world of form. Form only means that there's an object. There are objects. There's form, objects. There's an earth. There's a sky. There's a moon. There's stars. There are trees. There are bodies. There's cars. There's computers. There's bottles. Object. This is an object. It has form. So it says in a world of form, the ego cannot be denied, for it is for it alone seems real. From object to object, object seems real. Yet, could God's Son, as God created him, abide in form or in a world of form? That's a great question. Who asked you to define the ego and explain how it arose can be but he who thinks it's real? That's a part of us that think that our personal existence is real, and seek by definition to ensure that its elusive nature is concealed behind the words that seem to make it so. So our personal identification in and of itself, the belief in that being a separated self, is what is asking the question, only to preserve its individuated or individuality. That's the way that it seeks to preserve itself. Wow, this idea of an ego goes so much deeper than the play on words that we've used it in the past. It basically says that our very temporal existence, seeming temporal existence, is a dream, a thought, an idea that is not reality. But we have put so much energy into it to make it our reality. And so when we make it our reality, then we're living in a world of illusions, of nothingness. And it goes on to say many more things about the ego. Wow. And I'm not going to go into all that, because if I do, I'd lose. I would lose the opportunity to talk about Workbook Lesson 25. But that's enough for now. So we'll go back to Workbook Lesson 25. Wow. We are really in school, man. I hope you guys are learning about your reality. Okay, so today's lesson is, I do not know what anything is for. Why? From an ego perspective, I don't. From an illusionary, dream-like perception, I don't know what anything is for, because it's not real. It's making sense now, right? So it's not talking about you don't have the capacity to. What it's saying is, from our ego perspective, from our dream of separation, from the idea of individual separated self from its creator, from that perspective, we don't know what anything is for, because it's like a fish out of water. If you take a fish out of the water, he will die, or she will die. And so when you take our true identification and you take it out of reality, which is impossible, but we do it. We have to fall in a dream-like state to do it. When you take it outside reality, when you take your reality and you take it outside of reality, that's what I call, we have gone prodigal. Like the prodigal son who left his father's home. He left his reality to end up in the what? a place of unreality. And in the story, it calls he was what? He was eating in the pig pen, in the pig's pen. We were not created to end up in the pig's pen. We were created to be an extension of that which we were created by or from. Meaning we are part of that which we were created. We are part of that. We share that same one being. We're not, in reality, we're not these billions of separate beings, but we all share this. We all share the same one being. There's only one being, and we all share that being. There's only one life. We all share that one life. You catch this concept, this reality, and then you realize, just like when you look up at the sun, which is hard to look at directly at the sun. Why? Because of its illumination, because of its brightness. So when you look at yourself, when you attempt to look at yourself, you can't look at yourself without looking at the one being, the one creator. And in its brightness and in its luminosity, just like you look at the natural sun, and what do you see? You see the beams, the sun beams that are extended from the source, which is the sun. A more real example of our true identity is like it's like looking at the sunbeams, and to see the sunbeams shining from the sun or standing from the sun is to see the sun itself, because those sunbeams are just an extension of the totality of the sun, and every beam is the totality of the sun. When you go to the ocean and you see the waves come in to shore and then they go back out, every wave represents an individual expression of that entire ocean, appearing as though it's separate from the ocean, only to what? Rescind back into the ocean itself. That is a great metaphor for the reality that ideas leave not their source. The waves leave not the ocean. The sunbeams leave not the sun. And you and I leave not the Creator. Even though it appears that we're separate, it appears that there's a separation, a complete separation. But that's only an illusion in the world of form, because it's only temporary. And we know that source is not temporary. Source is eternal. Source is unchangeable. Source has no beginning and end. So it has to be a dance or dream of separation, but it's not real. But just like them sunbeams extend themselves, and then the next time you look, you don't see the beams because they have rescinded back into the sun. Same way you see those waves on the shore, and then you look and the waves have gone back into the depth of the ocean. Likewise, our true identity, our true reality, as it appears, the little dance, the little play of individuality, is that we appear temporarily in form, or as being in form, we appear as an expression of the divine, but in reality, we have never left the heart of our Creator. We've never left the heart of God. We've never been separated from God. But we appear as this individuated expression, and then we return back to the source from which we came. And the source from which we came is timeless, is formless, is birthless, is deathless. So that's who we are. That's what we are. It is an absolutely phenomenal reality. How we're playing on this dimension, and we can play on every dimension because the presence of God is everywhere. Therefore, we are everywhere. This form that we're appearing to be expressed in, it's not everywhere. It's temporary here. So I do not know what anything is for, but hopefully that little dissertation has given you a glimpse of your reality. Your reality, that which is real. Because your reality cannot be threatened, can't be changed. It can't be opposed upon. It appears that our whole existence, our whole reality has been threatened by this ego idea of separation. And it seems so real. We say our life seems so real. Our world, our circumstances, our conditions, our situations, they seem so real. The mountains seem so real. The ocean seems so real. The wars and the hurt and the pain, they seem so real. The birth of children and the death of old humans seem so real. Having to pay my bills, having to drive, having to fly around the world. It seems so real. The love I have for my family, it seems so real. But I always like to go back to that old song that always remind me. And it goes like this. And you can sing along with me because I think you know the song. You waiting, right? It goes like this. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Gotcha. Yeah. Like the prodigal son is if you could understand that story, the prodigal son, you understand life. You find yourself in that story. When the prodigal son returned home, he said, I'll just be a servant because I was a bad boy, and left. Dad say, impossible. That which was lost has been found. There's going to be a celebration. He has awakened to himself. And see, we get lost in the dream of individuality. We get lost in the dream of separation. We get lost in this dream of being in these bodies as though it's real. And then we see bodies die and we don't see the person anymore. Well, the person wasn't the body. He was just expressing himself through the body, but he was not the body. That's why there's no life in the body at the end of that, the use of it. But we put so much emphasis on these bodies. So much emphasis. We put so much makeup on them. We take them to the gym. We drag them to the beauty parlors to the nails and the pedicure, manicures. We bathe them every day. We brush them every day. We flush them every day. We dress them every day. Yes, we carry them to all kind of places. We develop all kinds of skill sets in these bodies to express so much emphasis on the body. And the body is an ego idea. It's a temporary vehicle that allowed us to express on this level and to communicate on this level. It's a communication device. Basically what it is. Your body is a communication device. It is not you. Your car is a car. It is not you. Your house is a house. It is not you. All right, I haven't even read the first sentence in this lesson, and I'm 36 minutes in. Okay, you might have to watch this one in two parts. I get carried away. I admit that. These ideas are so connected that it's easy to get carried away in them, but they're so consistent. And we are only on the 25th step. What if we would? What do you think when we're gonna get on the? What do you think we're gonna? How we're gonna be talking? How we're gonna be seeing? How we're gonna be perceiving when we're standing on step 125, and we won't even be halfway through? Stay on this journey with me. I guarantee you, you'll never be the same. You'll never see the same. You never think the same. I do not know what anything is for. Purpose is meaning. Purpose is meaning. Purpose has to do with it has to do with the what. What is it for? It's not the why, it's the what. What is it for? What is one of the highest vibrational questions you could ask? What is it for? What do I love? What am I? That's all an important question. That's why, you hear people say, a lot of time when two people meet, before they even call each other name, they'll say, "What's up?" Purpose. They're saying, "Hey, purpose." Purpose is meaning. Purpose is meaning. Purpose gives meaning. Today's idea explains why nothing you see means anything. Because I do not know what anything is for. It explains why the Course says at this state, in this journey of transformation, this journey of enlightenment, this journey of awakening, this journey of mind reversal, this journey of renewing the mind, rejuvenating the mind. It says at this state, we do not know what anything is for. Because if you're looking at anything or thinking from an ego perspective, you're thinking from a place of nothingness, which we describe what an ego is. So if you're perceiving from that place of nothingness, that's why it says we don't know what anything is for. Always coming from a place of nothingness, place of dream, illusion, separation, an idea that we are actually separated beings. It says, you do not know what it is for. Therefore, it is meaningless to you. Because we don't know what it's for, that means it's meaningless. Everything is for your own best interest. Wow. We need to underline that statement. Remember the previous lesson when we said, I do not perceive my own best interest? And then we turn one page over, it says everything is for your own best interest. Everything. This is very interesting. That is what it is for. That is its purpose. That is what it means. Everything is for my own best interest. Or everything has my own best interest at heart. Everything. Now I know what it is for. My own best interest. That is what it is for. It is its purpose. That is what it means. It is in recognizing this that your goals become unified. If everything is for my best interest, then everything is really good. Because it works towards my own best interest. It is in the use of my best interest. It helps me come into a oneness or a unification. Now, no, don't let me go there. Don't let me go there. Everything is unified. Everything is what? Remember I said real early in these lessons. All things are the one thing. You get it? See that thought now? Now we're reversing the way we think, so therefore we reverse the way we perceive. And when we perceive all things as one thing, that's why in these exercises we say we make no exceptions. Though they are in different forms, they all are the same. The thoughts are the same. What we see are the same, though in different forms, but they're the same. You got it? Now you're seeing through the eyes of unification. This is very important to understand as we go through the mind reversal training. It is in recognizing this that what you see is giving meaning. When you recognize that all things are the one thing. When you recognize that you and God are one thing. You're not two things, but one thing. Then it brings meaning to everything. From a place of separation and multiplicity, you're going to see a meaningless world. A world of 100 billion thousand things. And so from that perspective, that is a false perception or an illusion or a dream, and nothing makes sense and everything is meaningless. But when you embraced the reality of oneness, unification, and that there is but the one thing that is expressing all things. From that perspective, everything becomes meaningful. Everything becomes your best interest. Nothing becomes separate. Nothing appears now to be separate or meaningless. Nothing that seems to be in attack mode. Wow, this is really good. You perceive the world and everything in it as meaningful in terms of ego goals. So from an ego perception, we perceive the world and everything in it as meaningful. These ego goals have nothing to do with your own best interests. These separated goals, personal goals, has nothing to do with your best interest, even though it says up here that everything is for your best interest, but not from an ego perspective. It says these goals have nothing to do with your best interest because the ego is not you. You are not an ego. An ego is an illusion. It's not even real. In reality, it doesn't even have definition. It's just an idea of separation that we put our confidence in, not knowing that we're trying to be something that we're not. And so we play the separation game. We come into the world as a separate being. We all have a separate life. We have separate ideas, separate thoughts. Everything is based on separation because we're promoting that idea, and only to, at some point, because you even though we're promoting the idea, your true nature of oneness is intact. It's not changed. It's not altered. It's not affected by the dream. When your children are laying in the bed and you walk in their room and they're having a nightmare, they're having a dream, and you know it. You know that they are at home, safe in the bed. But to them, they are an individuated self in a dream world, dreaming of separation, dreaming of the big bad wolf chasing them, dreaming of falling off of a building, dreaming of, the boogeyman. And to them, that's reality, but it's not. It's just an idea of separation. It's really nothing. But they don't know it at the moment. But once you awaken them gently from the dream, you don't, if someone's dreaming, you don't go and shake them uncontrollably. No, you gently wake them up. And when they awaken to another dream-like state in these bodies, and they realize that I was just dreaming, and that in reality they realize it. You knew it all the time, but they come to realize it, that they were in a dreamlike state, but in reality, quote unquote, because that level is not reality either. But they were at home, safe in their parents' home. No boogeyman, no falling off a building, not being chased by a lion, but they were safe. Are you catching the metaphor here? And that's how our life is lived. We are born in a body with a name, a social security number. We get vaccinated. We go to school. We get conditioned to this separated ego individuated self. Why? Because everything is identified as your birth name, John Doe. So you think you are John Doe, to the point where you lose sight or lose memory or lose recognition of you, that you remain as your creator created you, as a changeless being at your essential nature. And so we just at some point forget our true identity. Only to at some point our nature kicks in. And there's this insatiable drive to come to know the true self. And so we get on what we call a spiritual journey, which is why we're all here. You're here listening to me because you're on a journey to remember your true self. That's all. You was drawn to me, to this platform here. There's thousands, millions of platforms, but you just, for some reason, this one resonates with you. If you're hearing me, you were drawn to this for your awakening, for you to return like the ocean waves return to the water, like the sunbeams return to the sun. You're returning to your source, which you never left. How good is this? Now you understand why I smile all the time. Yeah. I see now. I think now, and I see it's okay. It's all right. I don't have to get bent out of shape. It'll be different tomorrow. Why? Because we're in a world of perception, a world of change, a world of come and go. I don't consider it the real deal. I'm the real deal. I'm the only constant thing. Your true identity is the only constant thing. In fact, you provide the stage on which this temporary world is on display. It's borrowing from your reality to express its unreality. Yeah. So you come to a point where you realize that, wow, I'm the director, the actor, the playwright. I can experience it the way I want to. And life becomes adventurous and exciting, creative, fun-filled, adventurous, packed. And you realize, I'm just going to express my beauty. I'm going to express my nature of love and beauty and abundance and happiness and peace. I don't get caught up in the smoke stream of separation and war, death, sickness, all the expressions that can be tormenting. They're not real. They're only that way because of the way humanity thinks and the way humanity perceives from an ego perspective. Are you getting this? I am. It says you perceive the world and everything in it as meaningful in terms of ego goals. These goals have nothing to do with your best interest because the ego is not you. This false identification makes you incapable of understanding what anything is for. As a result, you are bound to misuse it. If you don't, there's a saying that of one of my former mentors, his name was Miles Monroe. He's no longer with us. He wrote a book about purpose. And he said his classic statement out of that book, he said, if you don't understand the purpose of a thing, ultimately you will abuse it. You will abuse it or misuse it. And what he was referring to was your life, your time here on the planet. If you don't understand the purpose for that, ultimately you will misuse it. You won't use it in your best interest. And so we see a world of all kind of foolishness, all kind of destruction, all kind of evil. That's the abuse that happens when you don't understand the purpose for a thing. You don't understand the purpose for your life, you will abuse it. You don't understand the purpose for your wife, you will abuse her. If you don't understand the purpose for your car, you will abuse it. If you don't understand the purpose for a knife, you will abuse it. You don't understand the purpose for a gun, you will abuse it, meaning you'll take it and destroy. And we see, that's a classic case right there. Guns are not made to kill human beings. Knives, baseball bats are not made to kill human beings. But we do all kind of things, abusive things, with objects that were created for our greater good, our best interest. But in the hands of a thinking mind that does not know the purpose, the meaning of their existence, ultimately they will abuse their time. So purpose is everything. Purpose is meaning. But when from an ego perspective, the world is meaningless. That's why we have to change the way we think. We have to change the way we think. When we change the way we think, we'll change the way we see the world. We'll change the world. Not from going out and trying to change the effects, but we change the cause, which is our seeing. And remember, a few lessons back, we are determined to see. We are determined to see things differently. We see a world of vengeance. We see a world of hate. We see a world of destruction because of the way we're thinking. Where the way we think, the world will project it back to us because we're that powerful. So as a result of this, you are bound to misuse it. When you believe this, you will try to withdraw the goals you have assigned to the world instead of attempting to reinforce them. So instead of continuing to reinforce the illusion, the ego illusion of separation, the dream of separation, which is what is the root. Instead of reinforcing that on your journey in this life, you come to a point where you realize that you're part of creating, or you're part of making the world that we see. And you withdraw yourself. Once you wake up to this reality, you withdraw yourself from reinforcing the illusion, the ego illusion of separation. You withdraw yourself from the meaningless. You withdraw yourself. Just like you indulge yourself, you can withdraw yourself. Because you come to a point where you realize you don't want to contribute to reinforcing a false idea of separation, a false identification as a personal self. And so you take your part that you never left. You wake up from the dream and you begin to reinforce what is real, that which is real, which cannot be threatened, by purposefully using your life for light only, for love only. for peace only. You use your life for the awakening of the world only, not to plunge it further into darkness. Oh, yes, you do. Before you can make any sense out of the exercises, I missed something. Another way to describing the goals you now perceive is to say that they are all concerned with personal interests, the separated self-interest. Since you have no personal interest, your goals are really concerned with nothing. Remember, there's only one being in reality. We share that same being. I'm not a personal being. In cherishing them, the goals, personal interest, therefore, you have no goals at all, and thus you do not know what anything is for. So that's why we don't know what anything is for when we are embracing a personal interest. There is no personal interest. There's only one of us. There's only the I am interest. There's only one will, and that is the will of the Creator, because there's only the Creator. There's only God, and there is nothing else. Then you say, well, what about me? Well, what about you? You are a part of that only existence that there is. You are a part of God. You and God share the same heart, the same breath, the same life, the same expression, Yeah. Like Jesus said, I and the Father are one. He said he's not his personal self. He don't have a personal interest. I only do that which I see my Father do, only say what I hear him say. What is he saying? He's acknowledging the truth. Now, this is the Jesus that we all say is our brother, is our Savior. And he walked in the truth. He saw the truth. He thought in the truth. And we say we worship him, we follow him, he's our Savior. Okay, well, we have to let this mind be in us that was also in Christ Jesus, who thought it not robbery to be equal with God. Every time I say that, there's a resistance that come up. When I say that Jesus didn't think he was robbing God by saying he was equal with God, and he said that we need to have the same mindset. So I need to be able to say without resistance that I think I'm not taking anything away from the Almighty God by saying I am equal with him or her. Because God is neither he nor her or it. But God is all there is. God is everything. So I'm saying I am equal with everything. I am equal with the Almighty. I have equality with the big boss. Can you say that without any resistance? Or does the religion of your upbringing tells you that's blasphemy? Who do you think you are? Same thing the religious people in Jesus' time in a body said to him, who do you think you are, saying you the Son of God? Because to say that you're the Son of God, you're saying you're equal with God. I have 2 sons and a daughter, and they're all equal with me. All equal with me, meaning they have the same nature I have. They have the same ability I have. So we're not different. We're the same. They have equality with their dad. We have equality with God. We equal with him. The only difference is he extended you. You didn't extend him. If you want to make a difference. But then that's not even a difference either. Because he extended himself. So if he's extending himself, there's only himself. So if you exist, you are himself or herself. I hate these pronouns. He, her, she, it, him, them, they. They only make it difficult for us to capture the idea, because God is not a male nor female. That God has no gender. So this is a human idea, a limited, illusionary idea. It's only temporary. Like I said, we're trying to use temporary terms to describe that which is eternal and infinite. So we lose the meaning. So sometimes it's best to just be quiet. Sometimes it's best to just be quiet, bow our heads. And just join with our oneness. Because if we open our mouth and say something, more than likely it's going to come out less than what we really are. It's best to just be quiet. But we like to talk. We like to express our ego self. We love the dream of separation. It's okay. It's only temporary. Before you can make any sense out of the exercises for today, one more thought is necessary. Oh my God, it wants us to, it's to give us so much, it wants one more. Say, let's put one more thought in this thinker. It says, at the most superficial levels, you do recognize purpose. Oh, so at the superficial level, we do recognize purpose. It said earlier we didn't know anything. Now I said we at the superficial level. In other words, there's an open door. There's an open opportunity. It says we do recognize purpose. Yet purpose cannot be understood at these levels, but it cannot be understood at the superficial level. It says, for example, you do understand that a telephone is for the purpose of talking to someone who is not physically in your immediate vicinity. That we all accept that. That's what the phone is for. I can talk to someone anywhere outside of my presence. It says, what you do not understand is what you want to reach him or her for. In other words, why are you calling? Why are you calling me? Hello? Hello? Hello, why are you calling me? So I'm going to start answering the phone. Hello, why are you calling me? Because we understand that the phone is for making a call, but why are you calling me? I'm no longer going to answer the phone and say, hello. I'm going to say, why are you calling me? Oh, my Lord. My Lord. Woo, Jesus. What you do not understand is what you want to reach him or her for. And it is this that makes your contact with them meaningful or meaningless. If you don't understand why you're calling, then it's a meaningless call. If you know why, it's a meaningful call. It is crucial to our learning to be willing to give up the goals we have established for everything. In other words, at this point in our mind training, it's telling us we might as well give up everything. All the meaning that we've given things in the past. We give up all the thoughts, give up all the perceptions, just give all of them up. We need to just start over, because we were coming from an ego perspective. We was coming from a place of an illusion. And let's reset. That's what the course is saying, asking us. Let's do a reset here. Because I have shown you guys that the reason we see the world that we see from a collective standpoint may not be talking about your personal. We're not talking about your personal, what's has happened in your personal life. We're talking about, let's look at it from a collective, from mankind perspective. What's the state of the world? So the reason that it's in the state that it's in is because collectively we've been coming from an ego perspective, and we have gotten the results of that. A world of terror. Right now we're in a situation where, you got one nation, positioning itself against all the other nations, saying, "Hey, we're gonna tear up something here. We're gonna go and take over something." And all the rest of the world say, "You can't do that." So that's just, Mexican standoff. Well, why is that? Because the leadership is coming from an ego perspective. He does not know that he's unified with all humanity. But instead, no, we're an individual nation, and we want to rule the world. It's ego, man. That's all it is. Call it what it is. He's on the ego trip. And he'll be out of here in 20 years. And leave things messed. Don't leave out of here and leave a mess. Leave here and leave beautification, man. Unification. Oneness. It is crucial that to your learning, to be willing to give up the goals you have established for everything. The recognition that they are meaningless rather than good or bad is the only way to accomplish this. The idea for today is a step in that direction. So the idea that I do not know what anything is for is good. That's a good idea. It might hurt my little pride, but it's a good idea. It's a grand idea. It says 6 practice periods. Oh, did you catch that? We're going from 5 practice periods the previous week to now we're moving to 6 practice periods today. 6 times today. We're going to set ourselves aside. And each of the practice periods are 2 minutes in duration, not 1, but we're moving to 2 minutes. So we're 12 minutes today. So you're going to sow 12 minutes of your time today to do the exercises. Can you give 12 minutes to this? What's the value for it in it to you so far? Very valuable. It's helping me. It is clearing up my mind. It is the all of the confusion seems to be dissolving as I go through this course. There's a lot of things that have just dissolved out of my thinking that was cluttering and not veiling my clarity. My clarity is coming back since I started 25 days ago. What about you? It says 6 practice periods, 2 minutes. Each practice period should begin with a slow repetition of the idea for today. So say slowly, I do not know what anything is for. Followed by looking about you and letting your glance rest on whatever happens to catch your eye, near or far, important or unimportant, human or non-human. So everything qualifies. Everything you see qualifies, from your body to the bottle, to the walls, to the floors, to the stop sign outside the window, to your neighbor walking down the street, everything, to the car in your garage. Okay, nothing is an exception because all things are unified. All things are the same thing. It says each practice period should begin with a slow repetition followed by looking about you, okay, to those that things are animate or inanimate, human or non-human. With your eyes resting on each subject, so you select, say, for example, I do not know what this chair is for. I do not know what this pencil is for. I do not know what these glasses are for. Say this quite slowly without shifting your eyes from the subject. So as you look at it, and I say, I do not know what these glasses are for. I do not know what this cell phone is for. Looking at it when I say it. So look at it when you say it. And I look far off and I say, I do not know what that desk is for. I do not know what this light is for. Okay, just do the exercise. Don't judge it. Do the exercise exactly like it says. There's a purpose for that. There's a meaning in that. There's clarity behind us doing the exercise. There's a clearing of the mind to where we're going to come to realize that we live in this, we have this vast spaciousness that is free from the worry, doubt, fear, and anxiety that we have come to live with. You don't have to live with that. You don't have to live with anxiety and trauma and suffering and mental illness and, Alzheimer's and dementia and all these mental and psychological conditionings that we see millions of people struggling with. And that's exactly what the ego wants to happen in your life. But once you wake up to the reality, your reality, those things don't even exist. So what are you saying, Oliver? I'm going to live forever? Of course. You mean my body's going to not ever die because I know these things? Check out the evidence. Know that experience has an expiration date. And you want it to have an expiration date because that expiration date is the birth date for your next becoming. You don't want to miss that. You don't want to mix that. And you don't want to not learn what we're going through in this moment. You don't want to have to cycle back around and start all over, do you? So let's learn it in this lifetime. Let's wake up today. Let's wake up now and embrace reality, your reality, your grandeur, your splendor, your radiance, your innocence, your divinity. That's who you are. Your beauty. Yeah. You are a great light. That's what Jesus meant when he said, hey, you're the light of the world, man. Get up and walk. You're the light of the world. You're the savior of the world. When you wake up, the whole world wakes up because you see everything anew. The entire world wakes up when you do. That's why you are the savior of the world. And you don't have to go out there and do anything. You just wake up from the dream. You come back home. You come back from the illusion of being separate. And you wake up and you realize, oh, wow, all this was not happening out there. It was a projection of my thoughts of a world of vengeance. There's no world of vengeance. That was all in my mind. sound like the Matrix, right? Star Wars. Hey, they were onto something in Hollywood when they made those movies. But we're onto something on this journey back to reality. It's been my pleasure for the last hour and 20 minutes to be your temporary guide in Workbook Lesson 25. I do not know what anything is for. Namaste.